Hello friend, welcome back. As the year is ending, so we have some amazing innovative features for all of you which will help you guys a lot to save a lot more time and solve some really critical problems which were not earlier possible. These features pretty much were already available in the free version. Now we have also added them in pro version with more advanced things and more features. Let's see which all those features are, and before that let me show you guys what are those problems were there which were not earlier solved and now we have solved them. So the very first thing is cross origin iframe support. So suppose if you have any page which has a child page, basically the iframe, which are coming from different domain or source or different port or portal, then in that case those becomes the cross origin iframe. So generally, like cross origin, when you see that there's a page, child page, basically like this inside a website, and that is coming from different source, like this is SelectorsHub.com and this is coming from Google.com. So this becomes the cross origin iframe. So basically any iframe becomes cross origin for three reasons mostly. The one, if source is different, like this is coming from SelectorsHub.com, the child page basically the iframe document, which is coming from different domain, Google.com or any other website, or if it is coming from different port or portal, then in that case these becomes the cross origin iframe. Now let's see what you guys were facing the problem earlier. So if you open SelectorsHub Pro in DevTools, or if you open through here, so you see that we were not able to inspect this, like it was showing can't inspect element inside cross origin iframe. Okay, and we were not able to inspect any of these, and we were not able to generate these selectors for them. Now if you're using SelectorsHub Pro in DevTools here, so here also we were not able to inspect this because it was inside cross origin iframe. Okay, this was one problem. The another problem was, like let's say you are a Playwright user, okay, and you open SelectorsHub Pro. So by default you were not able to find the Playwright selectors auto generated. You can verify here, you can write Playwright selector, that is all there, but you are not seeing it auto generated here by default. We have kept it unchecked because earlier there were not more users for Playwright selectors, but now we have with the new release we have made it always on. So you will always find that by default here you will always see the Playwright selectors auto generated. Another problem is here that you see when you inspect, use this inspector here, SelectorsHub inspector, and try to inspect any element. So you can inspect multiple elements here, right? This is great feature, but many people, many of our users wanted to have this feature like a DevTools inspector, that after inspecting one element it should get deactivated. Because like let's say you have inspected this element and after that you want to do some work and you don't want to keep it always on, because right now it is always on, so you cannot perform your action if the inspector is on. You can only inspect the element. So now we have given the feature that you will be able to deactivate that, which will make it possible to get deactivated automatically after inspecting one element. So I will explain all these features in detail, and there are some more bug fixes and improvements as well. Okay, so these are the list of features that we have added in this new version 5.1.2 onwards. This is already live, basically already live it is from today on Chrome browser. So the very first feature is cross origin iframe supports. We have added auto generated Playwright selector, this will be always on now, and feature to disable SelectorsHub inspector after inspecting one element. And then bug fixes and lots of improvements have been done. Let me show you guys here. Okay, so let me just take the latest release here. I was showing the older version already. This is the production version, so you can see 5.1.2, and here let me just open those pages again, cross origin iframe. Okay, and now when you will open SelectorsHub Pro here, you see that PW selector is already automatically generated, and if you inspect any element which is inside cross origin iframe, that now you see that we are able to inspect it, and it is generating the XPath for iframe inside which it exists, as well as the XPath for this particular element as well it is generating. Now you can inspect any element which is inside cross origin iframe, and you see that it is also letting you know that it is inside cross origin iframe. Switch to iframe to access it through automation, so you can inspect it. And if element will be inside same source origin, then it will also show you the message that it is inside same source origin iframe. So this is going to be very helpful, and you guys will not have to waste any more time. So this is going to be very simple. So for you guys, like when you are writing the automation script, for you it is not going to impact anything. It is as same as like what you were handling the other iframes earlier, like you were switching inside iframe using the XPath for iframe, and then you were like performing action on that particular element. So same you are going to do today as well. But earlier the problem was that we were not able to inspect these elements, and we were not able to auto generate the XPath and selectors for these cross origin iframe elements and the XPath for that iframe. So that will be possible now through SelectorsHub. This feature is available in free and pro version both. And one more thing you will have to remember, that cross origin iframe will be supported in the side panel only, because this is like kind of a rule that we cannot, any plugin, browser plugin, if that is opened in DevTools, that cannot access these cross origin iframes. So that's the kind of thing. So if you will try to use this in DevTools, and from there if you try to inspect this element, it will not be possible that you can inspect it. So this is not possible. So here you will have to use it in side panel only to inspect such cross origin iframe element. Okay, so make sure that you use it in side panel whenever you want to use it for cross origin iframe. Anyways, we always recommend that you use SelectorsHub now in cross like here in side panel, because that way it becomes more accessible. You can switch to any tab here, and you need not to open again and again and all. So that way it is easy. So this is cross origin iframe. Now next feature is that you see this PW selector always on here, so that is also good. Now if you inspect any element, you see that PW selector is by default is there, so you need not to basically like go inside setting and then turn it on. It is always on. Next feature is, if you see this, like when you are inspecting any element here, okay, so one second, this is by default on here, just a second. Okay, so when you will have this SelectorsHub Pro and you open it, by default when you will inspect any element, so you see that inspector is always on, but we don't want it to all like remain always on. We want that to get it turned off after inspecting one element, like what happens in free version, if you might have noticed. So before that, like when you inspect this element, you see that it is always on. So the advantage of like why we were having this inspector like inspector to generate multiple elements, that we were having this, like let's say you have the access based XPath. So in this case you see that you can quickly inspect two elements and it will generate the XPath for multiple elements. So that was the advantage. But if you want to deactivate in those situations as well, like you just right click, it was deactivated. But still we want to save more time, we want to give that feature to our users that they will be able to inspect, the inspector should get deactivated. In that case, like in free version, you see that in free version what we have, you inspect any element, it get deactivated, right? If you want to inspect another element, you inspect, select the inspector and then inspect. So that was there. We wanted to add this feature for our pro users as well. So what we have done, now you just open SelectorsHub Pro here, go to customize setting. Here you have this multi inspector, you just turn off this one and now come back here and inspect any element. You see that now it got deactivated automatically. If you want to inspect another element, then you select and inspect. So meanwhile you can do your work here. So basically now you have this feature that it will be doing this as well. Now apart from this, lots of improvements and feature minor bug fixes has been done. Like for an example, if you inspect any element which is kind of like dynamic element, so if you click on this, earlier there was an issue that it was not working here in side panel. Now it will work here. It will let you know that this is stable or unstable. So here you see that 0 elements matching unstable XPath. So that's what now it is working here. There was one more minor issue that when you inspect any element here, so you see that we were having this ID attribute is equal to this, and this tooltip also suggests the ID looks dynamic and use attribute filter to generate relative XPath without ID. So in this case, when you open this attribute filter here, you were having this feature, right? So when you uncheck this, earlier it was on unchecking, it was not automatically generated immediately. It was asking us to inspect that element again. But now when you will click on this, it will generate again immediately without that particular attribute. So that is also working here now. Also this text attribute and all these things you can, now it will be working. So that is there. So all these small things has been fixed now. You can use this, and lots of minor improvements has been done a lot inside this, and you will really enjoy. It is very stable and very well working. If you face any issue, any challenge, do let us know in the comment section, and we will be more than happy to help you guys. And quickly one example, let me show you how to handle the cross origin iframe. So like with the real-time example, I will show you how you can automate that with the help of SelectorsHub. So let's say this is the cross origin iframe. I must have written the code already. Yes, here it is. So you see that we are opening that page, and here we have this web element. So this part, like simply we have opened this page. This part I will show you right again and show you. So when you handle the cross origin iframe, you really need to take care of one thing, that you make sure that your page is loaded successfully, completely, sorry, not successfully, completely. Like this, that loader is not appearing here. So let me just refresh the page. You see that loader is loading. So make sure that this loader get completed and the iframe got loaded in the page, because if your page is not loaded and the frame from which is coming from different domain is not loaded successfully, in that case SelectorsHub will not be able to identify that iframe, because that is still loading in the DOM. So that iframe, child iframe, should successfully get loaded in the page, then only you start inspecting, because SelectorsHub required the complete DOM. So I'm just telling, otherwise generally it won't take like hardly 1 second or half a second of time, but in some cases, let's say you don't have an internet speed slow and all, so in that case it is required. So now what we will do, we will inspect this element. Let's say this, yes, we want to click. So here you see that it has generated the XPath for iframe. It has generated XPath for that particular element as well. Cool. Now what we will do, so generally what we do in like Selenium, first we switch inside iframe and then we perform the action. Same way we will do here. So here you can turn on this command thing if you don't want to write the code. So simply copy this, come here, and here, like I said, after opening the website, always like you will have to synchronize your time. So basically sync your timing of the loading the web page and the iframe. So what we will do, it is always suggested you put some wait time here, explicit wait basically, so that that frame, child frame, everything get loaded successfully. So here we will add 5 seconds of wait, then web element, iframe element. Let's say we will first take iframe. So this we got the iframe element. Okay, no, this I have copied wrong. I need to copy the iframe element once again. So here we need to copy this iframe element. Copy this, paste it here. So this is, we got the iframe, and now what we need to, after getting the iframe, we need to switch inside iframe, right? So okay, now we got the iframe element. So after this we will write the command driver dot switch to dot frame, and here we need to switch inside this frame. So we'll enter this. Now we are inside the iframe, and inside iframe we want to click on, let's say, this yes. Okay, so if you notice that here, let me just close this command. Here we have this XPath which is looking like pretty much dynamic kind of XPath. So here we don't want to generate with this, but we want to click on this. What we can do, you can always expand this here, and you see that yes is very stable. So what we will try to write here, we will try to write the XPath based on this yes text, right? Because that is more stable and looks like it will not change, and rest other things seems like they will change. So contains yes, here you can see that it is showing a lot of match here. So we can see that how we can make it unique. So just inspect again. Let me just make sure that we get the correct XPath. And text is equal to yes. So we got this, and now let's copy this, come back here, and driver dot find element by dot XPath, and you paste this XPath, you paste inside double quote and then click. Okay, so what we are doing, simply we are opening the website, then we are switching inside iframe, then we are clicking on this. Let's run this and see if it works. So what we did, like whatever XPath was generated, we could use that directly, but we wanted to make sure that we use the stable XPath rather than like any dynamic kind of XPath. So that's the reason we used it. Okay, I'm just waiting to get this WebDriver open. Okay, so now it's opening. And the opening of browser and everything, it all depends on your system memory, network. And then it is, so you see that it has clicked on yes, and our script got completed successfully. So this is how you can simply switch inside iframe and then like perform the action. So it was very simple that we got to know that this is inside iframe and these are the XPath. We could have directly used it, but it looks like very dynamic. So in that case, we always recommend that you write the stable XPath without those kind of like attribute. I could have like already without this, we could have gone like without this ID, and then if it is generating with class, so you can just uncheck everything and it will generate without that, and whatever you want you can also enter that. So that all features are available. I just wanted to make sure that I can show you the right example. So these are the amazing features of SelectorsHub Pro, and if you guys haven't subscribed yet to for this Pro version, then you can immediately go and take it now, the subscription. And in fact, like this is year end, so we are giving the lifetime Pro access just for $99. You can directly go to the website and grab the SelectorsHub Pro plan. There are amazing features which will save a huge amount of time, and this offer may end soon on 31st of August. So please go and get it now. And if you have any feedback, do let us know in the comment section. Thank you so much. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also check out these awesome informative videos and keep watching more videos on SelectorsHub channel. Thank you.